Now that the full address column has its blanks replaced with the unknown, and then the offense column that has all those numbers has been deleted, we're gonna insert some blank cells so we can make some very specific date columns. So to do that, go to offense time, click the column, right click, go to insert. It may take a little time for it to appear depending on the size of your workbook and all that. So I will cut to when this is finished and I have 3 or 4 total. Now that the 3 date columns have been created, I went ahead and gave them a name before starting this segment of the recording, with month, day, and year as you can see on screen. To get the month, the day, and the year to show a particular part of the actual offense date, I used a particular formula. For month, I did text equals text parenthesis the particular cell number, which this one right here is B2, and then I did comma, the double quote, MM, end quote, in parentheses. The MM stands for month. The reason why you'd want to put 2 is because of like month 10, month 11, and month 12. So if I click here, it'll show you what I used, just signifying that this right here is B2. To get day, it was a very similar formula. Instead, I just did DD for day. And for year, I just did 4 Y's, signifying for year. Now, and some people may know this, some may not, so I'm just going to act as if you may not. What you can do to speed up how fast you do it is, you can click and drag this thing down, but it'll take a while. What you want to do instead is double tap on this little square. Let me click away and come back. Okay, ignore this thing right here, but there's like a tiny little square in the bottom right of the cell. Double tap that, and it'll fill in everything. Because what happens is, for this one it is using B2, the next one is using B3, and so on, all the way down until there's no more. And to check, we can do the control down arrow. As you can see, there's nothing else. So let's go back up and hit the little square right here for day, and then for year. The next thing we're going to look at is offense time to see if there's anything we can do with that. So let's right click on crime and insert a new cell. Once that has been inserted, I'm going to call it something like time of day. So I will cut to when the cell is there and I have given it a name. Now that the column has been created and given a name, you may see that I have the word PM inside for the time of day. The reason why it's PM is because offense time is everything in offense time is in military time. So to make that easier to read for most people, I have set it to where time of day will show either AM or PM. To get it to either show AM or PM, I used a formula which you can see here, which is telling it to check and see if a particular cell in the F column is greater than or equal to 1200, which is 12. And the PM stands for if true, if it is greater than 1200, it is in the afternoon, PM. If it's not, then it's AM. And one way to check is to just drag it down a tiny bit and just see if it changes when it's supposed to. As you can see here, for these two, it is indeed 12 p.m. But if you go down here, it is 10 a.m. So once you're satisfied or you believe that everything is good, you can just double tap on that little box on the bottom right and get it to go all the way down. Now, I will mention this. When I was creating the formula, I accidentally typed in less than instead of greater than, and that will throw things off. So one thing that you could do is just just highlight a very small portion of whatever data you're doing, just to make sure that everything is correct. Now that we have done that, we are for the most part done with cleaning. The only other thing that you really need to do is just check everything you've done and just see if everything's been cleaned, or what you believe has been cleaned, or what you believe. Let me think how to word this. You check and see if you believe you're done cleaning. Now, there's always a chance you may have to come back and clean later. That tends to happen, but if you believe you're done just by going over and looking at it, you can then save and then exit out. And while you're working on this, I would recommend saving throughout, just so that if anything weird happens, then you'll at least have some progress that was saved. Now, for those of you that may have noticed that my title of the thing has changed in its name, some weird thing happened, but it saved the progress I had, but it's just some weird thing happened with it when I was working in Excel off screen. So don't worry about that. So when we pull the data into Power BI, I'll just be using version 1. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Sorry for that little ramble, and I hope you have a nice day.